Hello, hello, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Roland, and I'm gonna be the host for this webinar today. And I'm really excited about this webinar because it's about how to let go your past and achieve your goals. And I'm especially excited about today's guest because I get asked many times, and like who's helped you change your life, who's been the mentors, who's been the coaches, people you've learned from. And I have to tell that Seal has been one of them. So we have here today Seal Stanford. She is a coach, she's a leader, entrepreneur, investor, mom, and a grandma. And I have a personal story with her because as I said, I've attended some of her courses, and I think it was like 5 years ago, like 2012, when I did a zones test that you can get to know about today as well. And I found out that two of my weakest things in this was, one of them was my confidence level, and the other one was taking action. And these were like the lower level from me back in 5 years back. But now today I have to tell that these are one of my main things. I'm really like, I enjoy doing this webinar here. I enjoy going out, being on stages, connecting with people, doing music and all that. And this process we got through really helped me to get more of confidence, getting into action and all that. And you're going to learn some really great things from Seal today. And I'm really excited about this webinar. So also, Seal is one of the speakers at the Well Formed Women Conference that's going to happen in Tallinn on 27th and 28th of October. And you're going to definitely see what she's about from this webinar, and then you can make a decision if you want to come to this event as well and join already hundreds of women who have bought a ticket and coming there to have this experience and share this emotions and get all the knowledge from this beautiful and really amazing women we are bringing there. So what you're going to get from this webinar, I'd say there's three main things. First of all, you will have an understanding of the main zones of life and how you can use them to have a better life. So secondly, you'll learn about powerful indicators of being in the zone. And thirdly, what is your personal power and how does it dissipate over time? How do you recover your personal power and redirect it towards your dreams and goals? So these are the three main things, but we will have a lot of other things as well. So you can always ask your questions in the chat area and just comment and be active. So it's going to be fun. So let's get into the webinar right now, and let's get into getting to know more about Seal. So hello, Seal, first of all.
Hello, and hello, everyone.
It's great to see you.
It's wonderful to be here. It's such an honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. So can you share a little bit about yourself, like just an introduction so people get a little bit more sense who you are and what you do?
Yes. I've always been into personal development, probably since my early 20s. I was starting to ask the question, why do people behave the way they do? What makes them tick? Why do they act the way they do? Why do I act the way I do? So 3 days before my 40th birthday, I had a defining moment. And I basically just took a look at my life, and I made this huge decision that I didn't know was going to be such a huge decision then, and what would, turn out, how it would turn out to be. But I made this decision that I wasn't going to live another year like the first 39 years of my life. And so at that moment, I had a friend that had recently taken a course, and she said, you might want to go in and see these people and meet with them and fill out one of these personal zones profiles. I think they could really help you. And prior to this, I had done a lot of self-improvement courses. I had read several books. I had taken courses in college, psychology, sociology, family relationships, and I'd also worked with the psychologist, just trying to find answers to life, how to make it better, how to make me better. And So I was kind of at the end of my tether, and I went in and met with these people at this company in Dallas, which is actually the sister company of the company I own now, and did a personal zones profile. And what happened was, when I got the results and the lady I was meeting with went over them, I just started to cry because I was looking at my life before my eyes, and it was so true. And I wanted to make a change. So I took a course, and what I noticed immediately was, as I got better and got happier, everybody around me got happier and better, and my relationships improved. I ended up getting the biggest paying job I'd ever had in my life as I continued to work on myself. And I was in the insurance industry at that time, a 19-year career, didn't have a college education, just had taken various courses here and there to improve the areas I need to improve in. And then I noticed that my sales increased 33%. And I was like, wow, this stuff is magic. And during this process, I found what I really, really love to do, and actually made a career change in 2004 and became the executive assistant to Alan Walter, and who also owned the company which I own now, and now I'm the president for. So that is how I got into this subject, just on my journey of personal development and always trying to be the best that I can be, led me to where I am now.
That's great. I really love your story, and because there's so many people and so many women out there who are in the mode where they don't really actually know what they want to do in their life, or when they know that, they are not able to make the change in order to go towards life they know they want to go. So you have made that. So maybe you can tell just shortly what were some of the key things, so we can go next from there into the zones. But what were some of the key things you think made you or helped you to make these changes in your life?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you well.
Okay, good. So honestly, the biggest and most important factor that I've always had in my life was my intention. And my intention was always to get better. Now, that sounds like a really small, maybe an insignificant thing. And it wasn't until I started learning about myself and tracking what really propelled me forward in my life. Well, because I've always had the intention to get better, that connected me and caused me to be in the right place at the right time with the right people. And I always seemed to find people who were masters who would kind of reach out to me and help me get better in the areas I wanted to get better in. The second thing I did was I invested in myself, and I took courses to help me learn and really understand myself, who I am, and what my personal power consists of, how it gets locked up, and how to handle people. And then I did some one-on-one private coaching to help me handle the issues that were specific to me. But a lot of that was also learning the skills and abilities of how to help people, how to positively process them, how to handle them when they negatively process me. So those are really the main steps. But the number one thing that I would love to tell all of you is the power of your intention will take you places you never dreamed possible. And I'm telling you, that one intention that I've had to always get better has taken me from the street, and I say street, it's really from the farm, from the rural farm of Louisiana, poverty mindset. So from the street to the suite to the stage. And it's just been on that intention.
That's great. So let's get into explain about the zones, and because that's something we mentioned that they're gonna get. So let's just go through them and give them what are the zones and why they need to know about the zones.
Okay, thank you. So the zones I consider to be one of the most important frames of reference and a way to live your life by out there. And the reason why it's so important is because the zones tell you who you are being, where you're at in relationship to where you want to go. So we all have goals, and we all have wants, and we all have dreams, and we all have needs. And there are 4 major zones in which we play in life. So in the red zone, so if you could go ahead, Roland, and put the red zone up. Yeah, go ahead and put the red zone up so they can see it. Good. So in the red zone, it's basically just like the color of a traffic light, right? You're stopped. You're not getting what you want. It's really that simple. And you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong things with the wrong people. And I know that makes sense to you guys. We've all been there. And you can tell where a person is. You can tell where you are just by, this is going to be simple, just by the lips on your face. If you have an upside down smile on your face, then you know that you're in the red zone. You're not getting what you want. You will feel quite oppositional. Okay? And you're losing. You're losing in the games. Okay? Your knowledge is incorrect that you're operating on. You've got some beliefs that aren't serving you well. I know that when I see someone in the red zone in this area, that they've had a shock, something in life, they've had a crash that's caused them to be sitting into where they're sitting. Okay, so that's the red zone. You're stopped. You're not getting what you want. Okay, wrong place, wrong time, doing the wrong things with the wrong people. Okay, let's go to the yellow zone. Yellow zone is the grind. That's the rut. That's, you don't stick your neck out. It's kind of like the zone of mediocrity, okay? You work for security. You'll have a few wins. You'll have really good subject skills. You're very good at working with things, but you don't originate in this zone, okay? The main thing is you don't originate, you don't stick your neck out. It's like status quo. So that's a yellow zone. You can tell when you're in the yellow zone, again, by your lips. If your lips are just straight across, that's yellow zone. Sometimes you'll be quite bored in the yellow zone, okay? This type of person, oftentimes, if there are any jobs that still exist, will work for the same company for 30 years, retire, and if they don't have some other games in place, they'll usually die within 5 years because the job is what creates their life for them. They're not out creating it. Okay, so now let's talk about the green zone.
Let's do it.
Okay, the green zone is the winner's zone, okay? So this is, you're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people. It feels kind of magical, although you've just positioned yourself to be there. And the green zone, you can tell when you're in this zone because it's so easy to manifest what you want. The lips on your face will be smiling. You will be achieving what you want. And a lot of people ask me, what's the fastest way to get in the zone? And I'll tell you the number one fastest way to get in the zone, very important, is do what you love. Now, I know that for some of you, you're in jobs where you can't do what you love because you have to pay the bills and you have to make money. And I would tell you that it was several years before I left that 19-year career and was able to apprentice and change careers, you know, in the middle of my life. So what I did was I did it part-time while I worked full-time, because a full-time job paid my bills, but also made the money so I can invest in myself. But I knew at some point it would be a means to an end. So I know that probably everybody here on this call has had a time when you were in the zone, right place, right time, doing the right things, and oh, it just worked. You were able to achieve what you wanted. And then there's the golden magic zone, which is kind of outside time and space. A lot of the athletes have described this as, like, the golfer would say, wow, the hole was like the size of the Grand Canyon. I mean, that's a pretty big hole. Or, you know, the footballer has made comments like, time and space seems to slow down. It's like everybody's in slow motion. It's like you had, you know, a long period of time to run that 70 yards and catch that pass. So, and basketballers have said, you know, the basket seems like it's gigantic and they've got all the time in the world just to put the ball in it. So go to Magic Zone. You're kind of like outside time and space. So what I would encourage you to do is just make a note for yourself on a piece of paper, and just, and you can do this after the call. Recall a time when you were in the zone. And I'll give you a quick in the zone story. One time I did this event out in Pebble Beach. And, oh, I'd never done an event like this, and I was terrified. But the only way you get over your terror is you go do the thing that you're afraid to do. You override your fears by that. That's another tip. And so it was really funny because I landed there and I had 20 clients meeting me at this event that was driving down from San Francisco. And I walk up to the rental car agency and they're like, Mrs. Stanford, we've upgraded you. I don't know. They upgraded me 2 or 3 levels to, you know, a luxury car at the same rate as the little car that I had booked. And I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. On my drive over to Pebble Beach, I had a client call me and said, oh, by the way, I'm sending a masseuse over to gift you a massage this afternoon when you get there. I'm like, picture myself, like, how does this happen? And then all 20 people that I invited to the event came to the Pebble Beach golfing event. I was standing on the sidewalk next to Kenny G while I was valet parking my car. And I just, so my point in telling you that was, everywhere I went, I was in the right place at the right time. I was with the people that I wanted to be with. I was doing an event, living my dream, which is sharing my knowledge to help people have a better life, explaining the zones, and then giving some clients an opportunity to see one of our golfers that we had on our lines at that time play golf. So everything just fell in place, went magical. So that's the golden magic zone, and the green zone as well. Those are some of the attributes of the green zone.
Yeah, so that's what I told when I made a test, that like the taking action and confidence level were in the red zone, and working with you, like I remember from having a second test when my confidence level went to yellow, and the action one got into the lower green, and
yeah.
Then working, by now I know that they're both in green.
Oh, I know. Excellent.
So that's something. So, but how could people measure where they are at the zone, in the zones level? So is there some easy way to measure themselves?
Yeah, very good question. In order to measure where you are in the zones, take a look at what you want in life. Take a look at your goals. Take a look at your dreams and see. It's going to sound real simple, but see, if you're not getting what you want, you're upset, then you know you're kind of in the red zone in that area. If it's so-so, then you're yellow zone. If you're really going for it and you're actually achieving part of those goals and dreams, well, then you're in the green zone. If you're up in the green zone, and by the way, the green zone is your natural state. That is who you truly are. When you are operating in that green zone, you're really being your true higher self with all that intelligence and all those skills and abilities that you were innately born with. I mean, that's you. And so if you're accomplishing your dreams and goals, you're operating in the green zone. Now, if you want to expand that game and make it bigger, but you don't know how, doesn't mean you're not in the green zone, but you run into something you don't know. So there's just a piece of knowledge that you need to know, a next step that you need to know. So you would continue to play at that level until you find the next correct step to play at a different level, higher level. So that's the simplest way to know if you're not getting what you want, if you're having some wins, or if you're really, really having and accomplishing your goals and your dreams. And if life is pretty effortless, then you'd be operating the green zone. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So, but what are the different categories or where you can measure yourself in? Because I remember from the test as well that we did that there's at the action part, and then was the confidence level. There's like different areas of your life that you can measure. So maybe you can give what are some of the things that people could measure in their life and see where they are in those things.
So connected to the profiles, there are 6 attributes that a person needs. There's actually 12 attributes that a person needs to be pretty green zone in order to operate in the green zone. And that would be your knowledge level. How much knowledge do you have in your subject? How well do you know it? Because your knowledge sets you up and determines how many doors can be open. It's like, if you look at Robert and Kim Kiyosaki, they have a tremendous amount of knowledge in the area of real estate. Well, how do I know that? How do I know that they do? Well, because of their stats. They have stats to prove it. They have investments in real estate, and they've done well based on their books and also based on their games. So when you have a lot of knowledge in the games that you're playing, that positions you to really play a big game. And it's not head knowledge. No, it's not head knowledge. It's taking what you know and applying what you know. That's what positions you. If your results match your vision, then that tells me you can take what you know, apply it, and get a great result. And then the next area is keeping your integrity in as far as your ethics. How do you choose to use what you know? Do you want to use it to play a mediocre game, or do you want to use it to really play in a big game? That's your commitment to you using your knowledge and playing a very big game. Another attribute also that needs to be in the green zone would be how are you using your power? Now, your power is made up of life force particles. And life force particles is like a quantitative subject, but I'm just going to keep it really simple. Life force particles are basically what the universe is made up of. It's energy. And your life force particles, whether or not you've got a lot available or whether or not they're trapped over here in the past, or you're connected to someone that's constantly making less or nothing of you, that's going to drain you of your power. So if your power's unrestrained and you're not restraining yourself, then that's what's needed in order to have enough attention available and enough energy to really play a big game and accomplish those goals and dreams. If you're sitting there restraining yourself all the time, gosh, you're going to be immobile. It's going to be hard to operate as your true self. And then another attribute in the green zone is also connected to what size of game you're playing. If you're playing a small game, it's not going to allow you to be as big as you can be. And I'll give you an example of that. When I was in my 19-year career in the insurance industry, I was an account manager managing $9 million worth of business. Well, now that I work all over the world with people who are very, very successful Could I go back and do that job at Aetna? Yeah, I could if I had to, but it would force me to be in such a small identity. I mean, I'm capable of processing and coaching the president of the company. So it's really not a position I could go and really be my big higher self with all the knowledge that I have. And then the next area would be yourself. How do you feel about yourself on the inside? This is the identity that you operate in to play the games that you're playing. Some of the skills that's needed in order to maintain the green zone is to be able to have great communication skills, be able to talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime about anything, because people will feel that you are a safe person to connect to, and they will want to be in your space. If you have a lot of empathy, that means just feeling what other people feel and having a lot of love for others and a love for people, places, and things. That creates a safe space for people to want to know you. And then, as Roland mentioned, he mentioned his action level. Action is very important because you can be sitting on the couch doing nothing, which is very yellow zone, or you can take action. A green zoner sees what needs to be done. A yellow zoner sees what needs to be done, but they're indecisive. They can't move. They don't know what to do. A green zoner sees what needs to be done, and they do it. Even if they've got fears there, they override them. They still go into action. That's the way you learn. It took me a long time to grasp this point right here, that you actually fail your way to success. I heard Alan talk so many times, my mentor, that and coach, that he failed his way to success. And I hate failure. It makes me feel so stupid and embarrassed and just all of that negative stuff. But what I have finally come to terms with, if I'm not taking action and getting in the game playing, I'm not even in the game. I'm not even a player. And if I don't go do it, that's how I learn. I figure out, well, what did I know? What did I not know? That's how I correct myself. That's how I get better. So, and anyone that's ever been successful, think about this, how silly this is. Anybody that's ever been successful, they failed their way to success. They didn't just wake up one morning like Beyonce. She just wake up one morning and have a, stage of, 50 million followers. No, she had some small successes first to get to where she is today. The next area is you take action, and then effectiveness is very, very key here. Effectiveness is you deliver what you promise. Now, this is going to seem small, but it's not. How do you know if you're effective? Well, if your results match your vision. Effectiveness, the way you get effective, if you want to clean this up and be more effective in your life, write out a list of all the incomplete cycles that you have. Anything that's incomplete, any task, anything. Put them in orders of importance and then start doing those. That will free up so much of your attention, which is your life force particles. Bring them in present time, which is going to make you feel so much lighter, so much energetic, so much more energetic and very alive. And use tough love on yourself when you're looking at being effective. If you say you're going to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, you are there at 9 o'clock, not 9:01. Because if you're there at 9:01, you've not delivered the promise to yourself or to others, and it's a form of dishonesty. The next area that needs to be in the green zone would be confidence column. Roland mentioned having a confidence. His confidence was down. Usually, if you don't have high confidence, and I'll just tell you, usually, this is always the way it is, if it's down in the red zone, probably someone or something has negatively processed you, or you've had a shock. So you're still sitting in that, and your confidence was really, really, just kind of destroyed at that moment. But it's easy to fix that. And a negative process, you might want to make a note of this if I were you. A negative process The way you know if you've been negatively processed, and we do this to ourselves all the time, is if it takes you closer to your dream, that's a positive process. Takes you closer to what you want, that's a positive process. A negative process would be someone who takes you further away from your dreams, or tells you you're no good, or tells you you're never going to make it. You're stupid. That's a negative process. It's not going to help you get closer to your dreams. So, did that answer your question, Roland?
Yes, that's a really good answer, like complete answer.
Yeah, good.
So there's, I saw Lisa a lot asking about, is there possible to be in two zones at the same time? So I guess you explaining those zones, it's, as I had also on the test, that I had some things in the red, some in yellow, some in green, and
yeah.
The goal or idea is first get them from the lower levels to the green zone. And so the question from that Johanna also asked here is like, so how to build it up, like how to get from the red yellow zone to the green zone? What are the steps to do?
Well, the steps to do is, first of all, understanding the zones and understanding yourself and where you want to go. So if you've got a clear picture, a clear vision of where you want to go, and can see where you are, and then make a list of all the things that you know, and then the things you don't know will come to view. Now, one of the things that I've done my whole life, at least starting in my 20s, was find a good role model, someone that knew a lot more than me in the subject, and I modeled them. But it always comes back to knowledge. It depends on what area that's low for you, as obviously as what you need to do. And I like to use this as an example as some of our athletes. We all know athletes, professional athletes, who are masters in their game. It might be a master footballer, a master soccer player, golfer, and they're masters in that game. But when very green and goal zone, but when it comes to the relationships in their life, they're disastrous. So that would be someone green, and that would be someone disastrous in the area of relationships. So in that example, that person will, first of all, need some knowledge on how to have a great relationship. Have some one-on-one coaching on how to have a great relationship. Read a book on how to have a great relationship. Identify where you at in the area of relationships. Probably not getting what he wants in the area of relationships. Has a lot of confusion on what is a great relationship. Probably doesn't even know what a green zone relationship is. It's based on honesty, truth, helping others get what they want, them helping you get what you want. Make sense? I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. So, and also you do like these processes where you help people like personally one-on-one get over that. So when you, maybe you can tell a little bit about that as well, because that's also a big part. Because just one thing is go out and learn from some other people, go to seminars, read books. But there's also this personal thing that sometimes people can't get over the things they are in themselves.
Oh, totally. The book that I read, I just want to say, there's a book that's called The Secrets to Increasing Your Power, Wealth, and Happiness. And when I read that book, that's by Alan Walter. When I read that book, I realized where I personally had been stuck for 17 years. I realized where most of my attention and power was locked up. Now, when I went in and had some one-on-one coaching, basically what we looked at is we asked positive questions that help you find the answers within yourself. No one tells me what to think or what to do or what to believe, because I've got the answers and I know what's right for me. I just needed help by someone asking me questions, and it's like peeling the onion to get to the right answers for me. Once I got the knowledge of what created that situation that was a horrible negative process that had trapped a lot of my attention in the past, even though I was still accomplishing my goals and dreams, but had that piece really weighing me down. my life force particles released, and I got the truth of it. I will tell you, I was set free. The truth will set you free. Well, the truth really does set you free. It sets your life force particles free, which is pieces of you. So anywhere you have your attention, like if you had your attention on the kids, and you have your attention on making more sales, and you have your attention on a relationship, and you have your attention on the future, and then you have your attention on cooking dinner tonight, well, gosh, that's a lot of things, a lot of balls in the air. And if you have a tremendous amount of responsibility, you probably end up not doing things really good in maybe any of these areas. So the way that you handle this is one of the fastest and quickest ways to handle it is to do some one-on-one coaching. It's like when we did with you, what we did with you, Roland. You only had about 5 hours or 10 hours of processing. And what happened? What happened for you after, we identified, we did the appointment. I showed you, I asked you questions and found exactly what are you sitting in? What's ruining your life? Why is your confidence so low? I asked you some questions and was able to take you back to the exact place of however long you'd been feeling like that. And then you did a course, and then you got some one-on-one coaching, which freed up those life force particles so you could take off, man.
Yeah, there's definitely some things that were holding me back from the past, and that made me feel that I'm not good enough, and that also makes me feel not confident, especially going out to people who seem to be having better results in their life than I do, and then I'm not able to take action. So it's like all related to each other. But can you tell a little bit about the life force particles? Like what does the life force particle mean? Because that's, I think, really important as well.
Yes. I'm so glad. Life force particles. Your life force particles are simply pieces of you. It's basically what your attention, ATTENTION, your attention. So you're born with an enormous amount of positive life force particles. Again, which is what the universe.
This is going to your shirt or something. So there's some scratching. Yeah, now it's good. Just.
Oh, thank you very much.
Rubbing to your shirt, so it was making
okay
some.
Now?
It's good now.
Okay, so your life force particles are simply pieces of you. So if you'll just write down life force particles are pieces of me. So I'd like to use the example of someone who's really focused on a goal. And let's take someone who's like an Olympian. You know what they do? They practice, they train, and they focus. So your life force particles are attention bits. They're pieces of you. And then your ability to focus and concentrate on your goals and dreams, and whether or not you get positive life force, whether or not you get positive results or negative results will depend on if you have a lot of your positive life force particles with you, or if they got tied up in some kind of negative incident in the past. What do we know about the past? The past is where? In the past, it's gone. So what we do here is we process the positive, put your attention on the future, what you want, where you're going, and if the negative comes up, we handle that, get it back over there where it belongs, so that you have enough freed attention and power to accomplish what you want. Like having your life force particles free and having enough is really necessary to operate in the high green zone states if you want to accomplish really big goals and dreams for yourself and be your true self.
Now, I love the parallel you made that was that each life force particle is worth like something you measured in gold or something.
Yeah. Alan, the founder of the life force particles and that concept, one life force particle is worth, one life force particle, just one, and you have millions of them, is worth 1 ounce of gold. Do you realize how much it is worth for you to have your life force particles, your positive life force particles to operate in? Life force particles, I like to look at them as your spiritual money. So if I've got all my life force particles tied up somewhere in some incident in the past, or I'm fighting with someone that's making less of me, or I'm making less of them and embroiled in something, that's no different. Tying up my life force particles is no different if you had $5 billion in the bank and the bank said, oh, sorry, Roland, we've got this account locked down. You can't even get a penny out of it. Well, what good does that do you? So it's very, very important to have your life force particles available so that you can direct your power and your attention on where you want it. And when I look at people, see, I can look at a person, and you guys will be able to do this too after this phone call. You'll be able to look at yourself and say, wow, how do I feel today? Am I red zone, yellow zone, or green zone? Well, let me look at my mouth. I'm green zone because I got a smile I'm happy about today. Or I'm feeling kind of red zone because I've got an upside down smile on my face. That's your mood level. But you know what? You've got the power to change it. Well, I better change my mood level if I want to have a great day. Mood determines everything, determines what kind of result you're going to get.
How do you have more personal power? Because I think that's kind of related with having more life force particles available in your life. And what are some of the things you can tell about that?
As far as having more personal power, let me see. How can someone have more personal power? Well, the first thing is, I mean, this is going to sound simple, but if you realize who you are, and I like to use what the YMCA over in the States uses as their motto, you know, spirit, mind, and body. You're a spiritual being with a mind and a body. So recognize who you are, what you're capable of, and also recognize and really own the fact that you are capable of accomplishing any dream that you or endeavor that you really, really want. And if you surround yourself with people, like-minded people, who are able to make more of you, not less of you or nothing of you. Making nothing of you is very red zone. Making less of you is yellow zone. But someone who recognizes who you are and knows how to make more of you and your skills and your ability, well, see, that's very, very empowering to you as a person. Someone that's able to help you get what you want, that increases your personal power. Someone who is a positive influence on you increases your personal power. But recognizing what I personally do is when I spend time with people, I spend a lot of time with like-minded people who are wanting to get better and always improve themselves. We're very like-minded. That puts us in alignment with each other. I look at people at what they do. You know, are they going to bring me up or are they going to bring me down? Because that cost me if I let people bring me down. It does nothing for my own personal power, my own self-worth if I let them do that. You know, bad attitudes are catching. So you might want to limit the time that you spend with someone who has a bad attitude. You know, you can change it to a good attitude just like you can to a bad attitude.
Is there some exercises or things that people can do by their own that help them get more into the zone or tap into their personal power a bit better? Is there some things that you can suggest people do by their own, just that you can tell? I know there's some things that you can't tell because there's, you have to come to the live event and have experienced that. As we cannot do that here because there's some things also in the Tallinn event and end of October. I know you're gonna do. There's a presence exercise that, and there's some other things. But is there something that you can tell on the webinar that people can do by their own that helps them into get over the negative, get into the positive mode, as Liz here is asking, or something, some exercise they can do?
Yeah, thank you. So there's several little things here that are going to seem really simple, but I'm going to tell you how they will affect your life, okay? So one of the things that I just mentioned a few minutes ago was, let me just look at the time, was when you've got a lot of incomplete cycles, that disperse you, okay? That makes your attention be all over the place. Your attention would be tied up on all those things that are incomplete. So, and this is so successful. I give this to my clients almost every week. And then they tell me the next week, oh my gosh, you have no idea how much order that put in my universe. Yes, I do, because I did it and I do it. And I know it's what a positive process it is. So list out all the things that you have incomplete cycles on in the house, in your work, everywhere. Then put them in orders of importance and then start completing them. You will feel so much energy and have a lot more energy to invest in the areas that you want to invest in. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to, if you're not getting what you want, take a look, write this question down. Take a look the last time you were in the zone. Just one time. I don't care if it was 5 minutes. Now, I want you to go back to what did you do to put yourself in the zones? Because those are the successful actions that you can identify, that you can go out and start duplicating over and over and over again. If you're in the zone and you fall out of the zone, this is how you handle it. Basically, you've run into someone or something that you didn't know how to handle. Either you were negatively processed or you ran into something you didn't know, so you didn't know how to take your next step. Identify that. Like an example would be someone in sales and you're not selling. Well, you're doing what you're doing when you do it, when you're doing it. It's like, I'm doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So someone who's in sales is not selling. What are they doing? Not selling. Well, there's a reason why they're not selling. There's probably something they don't know. So you can write out all the things you know, and then you'll see all the things you don't know. Let me see. I had made a couple more suggestions. Oh, if you've got a negative belief about yourself that's been ingrained, one of mine was you'll never amount to anything. And so every time I would start to reach out and try to do something new, try to learn something new, change careers, or try to be the person I wanted to be, this nagging phrase, you'll never amount to anything, was always in my space. And I finally looked one day and I'm like, well, where did that belief come from? Well, it was real simple for me to identify. It came from my father. And so that was his viewpoint, not my viewpoint. So I kind of let Dad have that viewpoint back. I identified where it came from. That's the source point of it. Got separate from it and started owning that I do amount to a lot. And I hope that makes sense. So inspect, if you've got a belief about yourself, go back to how long have you felt this way? When did that start? Where did it start? And you'll see that a lot of these beliefs and viewpoints that you have, they're not even yours. They're somebody else's. It may be a cousin, a teacher, a relative, a sibling, a friend, one of the parents. Identify, okay, that's theirs, not mine. And then write out, all the ways you do amount to something, right? Look at all the positive. Yeah. Anything else, Roland? Let me just take a look. I had written several things down. Just want to make sure I've covered everything.
Yeah, it's already a good list. So
yeah. And the other thing is, the biggest thing is that book. You'll find a lot of right answers in the book, The Secrets to Increasing Your Power, Wealth, and Happiness. And what I really want you to understand about life force particles, it's like if you took like a high-powered racing car that can go 200 miles or faster and really operating on all cylinders. That's a great comparison and analogy when it comes to how much power you have. When you're really operating with all of your positive life force particles, all that power flowed out toward your goals and dreams, like the racing car. But if something happened to two of the cylinders of the racing car, then it's not going to really be able to perform at the speed it was before. It's going to be, a little bit defective. And then if something happens to two more cylinders, well, then that's really going to cut the power of the racing car. And then something happens to another two of the cylinders. Well, before the end of the day, the racing car would probably have to be pushed just to go through life. That's what happens to your power when it gets locked up. So connect yourself to people who want to help you get better. And put your attention on where you want it. It's okay for you to have your own goals and your own dreams and what makes you happy.
That's great. But what are some of the things you're going to share when you're going to come here to Tallinn at the live event? Because it's all, these are some of the things that people can do by their own. It's a simple thing, but there's many exercises and things that it needs to have the other people around you. You need to do it in pairs, or you have to go through a process. And can you share some things that you're going to do here while you're in Tallinn? What women can learn from?
Yeah. So thank you. So one of the things that you're going to learn is you're going to learn how to put yourself in the most powerful position that you can be in any game, in any place, any location, at any time, at any space. So you're going to learn how to do that, how to put yourself in the most powerful position in the universe. That will also make your problems seem like little tiny dots when you get really, really big and expanded. So that's one of the things. The second thing is we're going to do an exercise that's going to help you. It's actually a process around who do you have to be, what do you have to do in order to have what you really want in your life. And there's a special process that you'll learn, questions that you'll actually team up with other people and work through that. That is such a powerful process. It's one of the processes and some of the questions that I use in my professional sessions now. It's what I use on myself. Every time I get ready to do something that I'm not quite sure about, I run through these questions and do a session with one of my colleagues so that I can create the kind of result that I want from my vision. And so you're actually going to learn that process. I can't wait to show you guys this, because you can use it in anything that you want, not just this one area, just anything that you want in life. So you can use it over and over and over again. And then, I can't stress enough probably the importance and the power that comes from being able to work with like-minded women who are genuine and down to earth and who have mastered their areas of expertise, and the importance of having a model that will share with you the things that they did that help them in their businesses or whatever their life endeavors are, and to be able to get that knowledge just in one day and some of those pieces so you can implement it and take more action to be more effective and get your results quicker. I mean, for me personally, that's priceless, because that's one of the things that's helped me get. I mean, I wouldn't have made it here if it hadn't been for positive coaches and mentors in my life and in my businesses. That's helped me, overcome the things that I didn't know and the things I needed to learn. So I think that's priceless. So those are some of the things that you'll get at the seminar.
Thank you for sharing, and it's a good time to make the decision to come to the event, because it's when the prices are going to go up soon again, and I'm just gonna display this out here so anyone interested can join, and I would say that it's especially for those who are like kind of, I had the thing that I'm not decisive enough, not taking action. This is a really good exercise, because it's you can take the action now, and if anything talk to you in this webinar, just make the decision of going to the event, buy the ticket, and there's always a way of correcting your decision when you feel like that wasn't the right thing. Towards the event, you can sell the ticket to someone else because you're buying it now cheaper. Or if you come to the event even and you feel like that's not for you, we even have the guarantee that we pay you money back. So there's there's no risk at all. So just make the first step, especially when you're the person when my action level is, I'm not taking action enough, I'm not confident enough. You just start doing that. That's the best way to get over that, because I talk that from my personal experience. I know that I was in the same position, thinking like, well, no, should I do that? Not, but no, just go do it. So that's really an nice experience that there's gonna be Seal, there's gonna be other women, Kim Kiyosaki, Janet Atwood, we have Lisa Lennon, we have Rhonda. They all have absolutely amazing stories and experiences, and they're gonna share the best of that to you. And there's 1,000 women in the room, so you can have the right people around you, because that's one of the things also for so many women, that they tell that, well, I'm here in my home with my kids, and I don't have the circle around me who can help me and who can make me feel more confident, make me feel more doing the things. So that's the place where you can come and do that. So I'm really excited about that, although I cannot be there, but it's still for the women, sake of the Estonian women. So you're really welcome to join that. And yeah, as I said, it's really soon. There's going to be a price raise, so that's a good time to make your decision for that. And anything else you wanna add to what we've discussed today already, Seal, and maybe also you can share where you mentioned about the Facebook group, and you're doing some videos for free as well, so you can share. So something you wanna tell them for women.
Well, you reminded me of something when you talked about being indecisive, and I wanted to tell you guys, because I struggle with this sometime a lot when I'm trying to make a decision sometime. And the way you do that is, if you're indecisive, you need to know that that locks up your power. You get immobile and you can't move, and you don't want to do that. That's so painful when you can't make a decision. So if you're indecisive, there's two things you can do. Find out what you don't know. There's some things you don't know. Once you get some of the unknowns out of the way and they become knowns, then you've got more knowledge and you can take action. The other thing you do is when you're fearful of something, and Yellow Zone is very, very full of fear, okay? If you're afraid of something, this is the way I have honestly overridden a lot of my fears, handled a lot of my fears. I override them. I go do it anyway. I was terrified of speaking on stage. I went and did it anyway. And I just wait and see how I do, and then I learn and I go do it. That is the best way one of the best ways is to overcome your fears. Find out what you don't know, but then go into action. That's the way you override them. The last thing is, I kept mentioning the secrets book for you because I know how many right answers that you will find about life and how to make it better. And I know that if all you ever do is just read that book, it will make your life better. How do I know that? almost 20 years in the subject. And I see people that's all they've ever done. Then they call and they're like, oh my gosh, I picked up 7 new clients after I read this book 4 times. I'm like, well, keep reading. That's a successful action. So we're on Facebook, and we're actually doing a free webinar every week on Thursdays at noon, Texas time. And we go over 1 chapter. It's free. Would love to have you guys dial in. Roland, do you have that? I sent that link to you this morning. Let me just look in text, and I'll put it in the box real quick. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, you can just put it there.
Yeah, it's, hold on 1 second. I'll copy and paste it. Oh, yeah, you're going to have to type it because I sent it to you. Hold on, it's not pasting. Oh, wait. Okay. Facebook. Okay, so it's facebook.com/aclc.us. But I typed it and sent it to you. Can you just...
Yeah, I'll post it.
Yeah, can you post it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. That'd be great. And there was a question here. We've gone over the thing. Could you recommend some good books on the same topic? Just the Secrets to Increasing Your Power, Wealth, and Happiness. There was another book I thought of when I was teaching. Yeah, I can't think of it. But they could write in on the Facebook page, and I'll be happy to answer questions, any questions, if you've got. And I thank you so much for joining in. I thank you all for dialing in, and I hope that you recognize what a huge being that you are with all that power and all that life force, and just focus it on your goals and your dreams and your wants, and that will point you in the right direction, which is toward the green zone. That is a great frame of reference to know where you are and where you want to go. That's all that is, but a powerful one. I live that. It's like the gauge of life. Am I going in the right direction, or am I heading the wrong direction? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Seal, and thank you everyone for participating here, and definitely use the things that Seal gave you, some exercises, some tips, put them into action, come to the live event, and we are really welcoming you there. And also we continue doing what we do. We're helping build people to bring out their potential, and that's what we're all out here. And it was a pleasure being with you again, and see you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Roland.